Chapter 554, Favor. Lumien's gaze fixated on the minor arcana card before he noticed another person standing in front of the full-body mirror in the room. The man sported a white shirt and a black vest, his face unusually pale and his brown hair tousled, suggesting he had just woken up. For some inexplicable reason, Lumien sensed a conflicting demeanor in this person, elusive yet restrained. The brown eyes held an indescribable weight, akin to staring into an abyss. "Knight of Swords," Lumien inquired. The man nodded subtly and responded, "Seven of Wands, how may I assist you?" Surprised, Lumien questioned, "How do you know I'm the Seven of Wands?" Lumien hadn't disclosed his exact code name in the letter, merely stating he sought help from the Knight of Swords as guided by Madame Magician. The Knight of Swords spoke slowly, as if holding back something. "Ma'am Hermit informed me that the Seven of Wands, affiliated with Madame Magician, would soon arrive in Fainapotter, possibly in need of intel or assistance. Madame Magician intentionally communicated with Ma'am Hermit about me," Lumien realized. "I need your help locating two individuals in Port Santa and the surrounding seas. Try not to alert any factions." "Be specific," the Knight of Swords replied, economical with his words. Lumien shared Batna Comte and Nulfi's details, adding, "I'm not certain if they're still alive. They might have become corpses by now." As he spoke, he handed two photo-like sketches to the Knight of Swords, a unique skill he'd acquired from Auror's grimoires and his expertise in ritualistic magic. These images, directly replicated from his mind, bore an uncanny resemblance to photographs. The ritualistic magic involved in creating such images demanded a suitable and secure target for prayer, a practice more common among official Beyonders who had orthodox gods to appeal to. Wild Beyonders rarely resorted to praying to dangerous entities for trivial matters. Being part of the Tarot Club, Lumien straddled both worlds, with the ability to seek aid from Mr. Fool or tap into Madame Magician's strength. The Knight of Swords studied the photo-like sketches before affirming, "I'll help you find them as soon as possible." There was no demand for payment or any immediate request, prompting Lumien to sigh. Organizations do have their advantages. Internal assistance often translated into favors, subtly binding individuals to reciprocal obligations. Some preferred setting clear prices rather than owing favors. But Lumien didn't entertain such thoughts. Securing the Knight of Swords' presence and help was already a considerable favor in itself. He pondered for a moment and then inquired, "What mission do you have in Fainapotter? Do you need my assistance?" The Knight of Swords paused briefly before responding, "The matter in Fainapotter is wrapping up, but I'll be heading to the southern continent soon. I might require your help there." "Sure thing," Lumien agreed. Intrigued, he asked, "Is Ma'am Hermit also overseeing matters in the southern continent?" "Wasn't she too busy?" Madame Magician had indicated that this major arcana card holder primarily dealt with sea-related affairs, and a clandestine organization dedicated to the hidden sage, with little involvement in the southern continent. The Knight of Swords replied in a subdued tone, "It's a personal matter, unrelated to Ma'am Hermit." "Got it," Lumien acknowledged. Many of his past tasks weren't orchestrated by Madame Magician, and even his mission in Port Santa to track down April Fool's key member was considered personal business if it didn't involve the celestial worthy. After a 2-second pause, the Knight of Swords added, "Moreover, I'm only temporarily under Ma'am Hermit's command." What does he mean by temporarily subordinate? Can one switch to other major arcana card holders in the future? Lumien wondered. Without explanation, the Knight of Swords form suddenly turned ethereal and disappeared. Lumien, without activating his spirit vision, couldn't catch the departing figure in time. It doesn't feel like teleportation or blending into the shadows. After a quick assessment, he changed into a brownish-green short-sleeved shirt and loose brownish-yellow pants commonly seen in Port Santa. Exiting the master bedroom, Lumien tossed the lie earring to Lugano. "Go to Valerio and get the new IDs. Remember the face you used when you last saw him." "I remember it clearly." Lugano took the lie earring. As Lugano was about to proceed with his disguise, Lumien halted him. "Find a secluded spot after leaving the room to use it. When you return, Shift back to your original appearance before entering the motel. Doesn't this mean I'll have this mystical item to myself for a while? Aren't you worried I might take off with it? It's not just unique, it's valuable. Lugano refrained from probing further. Following his employer's instructions, he took the lie earring, a bag containing his disguise, and exited the room. Observing Lugano's departure, Lumion picked up a golden straw hat and addressed Ludwig. "There's plenty of food in my bedroom. Stay put until I'm back." "Sure thing," Ludwig agreed, seemingly eager. Would someone exploit the absence of his guardians to attack him, the boy? Lumion, passing by the sofa, casually placed the golden straw hat on Ludwig's head. Simultaneously, he switched to a common round-rimmed felt hat and left the suite gradually. He wasn't concerned about Ludwig being alone in the motel. In fact, those who might come into contact with the boy faced more significant risks. Lumion adjusted his hat in the corridor and activated shadow transformation. Swiftly, he transformed into a pure shadow, blending into the darkness at the base of the walls on both sides. In the dark, veiled void, Lumion inhaled the scent of the gray-amber perfume he had deliberately left on the lie earring, using it to track Lugano. His intent wasn't merely to determine whether the interpreter was problematic, but to anticipate a potential attack. With adventurer Louis Barry probing the sea prayer ritual and presenting himself as resolute and radical, it was likely the Fisheries Guild and Milo Village would swiftly react in a decisive manner, eliminating this outsider to dissuade others and factions from clandestinely stirring. In this scenario, Lumion, Lugano, and Ludwig were at risk. He specifically tasked Lugano to seek Valerio alone for the IDs, intending to see if Juan Oro and others had their eyes on his companions, seizing an opportunity to strike Lugano. This strategy allowed Lumion to swiftly intervene if needed, rescuing Lugano while potentially neutralizing some Beyonders from the Fisheries Guild, showcasing the adventurer's strength and instilling confidence in onlookers, compelling further attempts. However, the Fisheries Guild and Milo Village might not act immediately. They might feign vulnerability, luring hidden adversaries to reveal themselves before eliminating them in one fell swoop. Lumion shadowed Lugano to Valerio's underground casino, observing him pay the remaining 50 gold risat for 2 local IDs. No attack. Could it be the Fisheries Guild is fishing, or did they fail to recognize Lugano after he used the lie earring? Lumion pondered the potential reasons while traversing through the shadows. Lugano hurriedly avoided lingering on the streets, well aware that his employer had incurred the wrath of the Fisheries Guild. He feared being ambushed by those unwilling to target Lumion, dragged into an alley, and subjected to a brutal beating. Seeking refuge in a crevice between 2 buildings near Salo Motel, he swiftly reverted to his altered appearance. Removing the lie earring, he switched into his customary black formal suit. Finally exhaling a sigh of relief, he turned onto Aquina Street and made his way back to the motel's entrance. Several tramps lay dozing on both sides of the street, basking lazily in the sunlight. Lumion was aware that unlike the severe tramp situation in the Lone Kingdom and the Intis Republic, Faina Potter's tramp issue was less acute due to fertile soil, ample pastures, and the church's modified agricultural methods, resulting in surplus food production. Here, food was notably cheaper, about 15 to 20% lower compared to Intis and other countries. Previously, before the Lone Kingdom began importing food from Faina Potter, the price of rye bread of the same weight was nearly twice as high. Despite the abundance, bankrupt farmers, herders, and city dwellers ended up as tramps due to land acquisition, loan sharks, and other reasons. However, they received free food from various sources like the Cathedral of Earth Mother, the Fertility Order, government departments, and charitable organizations, which, although not filling, prevented starvation, allowing them to recuperate and find new opportunities. As Lugano neared Salo Motel, Lumion, concealed in the shadows, sensed a disturbance. 3 tramps on the street abruptly stiffened, adjusting their postures unnaturally. In an instant, they sprang to their feet like puppet marionettes, drawing revolvers in an odd manner and aiming at Lugano from 3 different angles. Bangs, bangs, bang. Their wide-eyed state left Lugano no room to evade as they pulled their triggers successively.